Welcome back to Vegas Live with Ninon. I'm Ninon, your host, and you know exactly where I am. I'm at the Pepper Mill. Absolutely amazing place, Pepper Mill Lounge. This place, actually, my guest was asking me, how long this has been. It's been here since 1972. Absolutely amazing. I think every star and anybody who has ventured into Vegas has come to the Pepper Mill. My guest today is Julianna. Now, Julianna is from Los Angeles. I don't really know much about her because, as you very well know, I don't pre-interview any of my guests, so I'm on guesswork, what's going to vibe. But what I do know is that she is a producer. Now, being a woman and being a producer is a very, very difficult, touchy thing. How are you?
I'm so great. Thank you for having
me.
It's
great to have you.
This is incredible.
Well, having a female producer is very difficult to fight through all those barricades.
Yes.
Because you walk into a guy's, you know what goes on. It's been all over the newspapers what happens with women. I mean, come on. And now I think is a completely arena for the women.
Yes.
And I think that we as women have struggled through this thing.
And to break into that is really something. I mean, where I've come from, my job now is to uplift other women, to help
us. Good
for you.
So do you find yourself gravitating to employ other women? Now, you're a director and a producer.
Correct.
And how long have you had that role?
Well, I started out in casting, but before that, when I got to Los Angeles, I held up cue cards for Family Feud, Ellen, and I slowly...
So you got to know all the biggies.
Yes.
Well, I love Ellen. Oh, God, I love that woman.
And I would do the cards, and Jay Leno would come up behind me and say, "Kid, you keep doing those cards. I started out doing those cards." Just kept applying for more work, got into casting, was a talent booker at MTV.
Oh my goodness.
Did shows
So you
for them.
got into it in a very kind of big way. You got into the top shows. It's very hard to do that.
It is. I just was persistent.
I wouldn't take no for an answer.
And I just wouldn't stop. I wouldn't stop.
You just wouldn't stop.
No.
So that's your tenacity. So that's kind of so that's a good message to your ladies out there. Don't stop.
Yes, and the idea was, I got it from film school, when you meet a contact, you follow up, not once, not twice, get used to being, yes.
Get them used to your name.
Yes, and there's no annoyance. I mean, if you're being polite, of course.
Yes, of course.
People take it to the extreme. But just to pop in, say hello, say I'm wishing you well. Hey, do you know of anywhere I can get a job? Do you know? I just kept going.
No, I like what you just said. Don't be afraid to ask for a job.
That's right.
So don't be afraid saying, you feel you're being impositioning them or whatever you're doing. So it's okay to say,
yes.
Do you know anybody that will hire me?
Yes. And to keep that persistence going too, and also this is my resume. I am hustling. I'm working. I'm worth it.
This is what I want, and this is what I'm going to do.
Yep, and that was my experience. I'm sure other people come about it through nepotism, through other ways.
Yes.
But for me, I was the get up and go type. I want to eat the crafty. I want to be on the set.
You actually knew what you wanted to do, though, too.
Yes,
You knew that this is where you wanted to go, and this is what you wanted.
Yes.
And you were not going to stop.
No. And when people said, "Oh, just be why don't you just start working to be an associate producer on this show? Why don't you can write for this show?" I said, "No, I want to be a producer. I want to be a director. I want to go up. I want to go up."
You did get to that level. You knew what it was.
Yes, and I did assume many roles. And yes, when I got there, now I know kind of the terrain I'm working with.
Yes.
And what type of people I want on my team, because I've been in those shoes. I've been a script supervisor. I've been a producer. I've been a line producer. I've been a UPM. I've been an AD.
Talent is sitting right here as a woman. It's amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Now, when you got your first directing job, what was that for?
Well, I directed some music videos in the beginning.
Oh, how wonderful.
A band, I was handing out flyers outside of the House of Blues, and this band came out, and I don't know what wild hair went up my butt, but I said, "Do you guys need a music video?" And they were like, "Yeah, we were just talking about this a couple months ago, but nobody's wanting," and they were a metal band, and they were so cool. And I said, "Well, I'm a director." And
I love it. I'm a director. And you were 6 feet tall.
And I hid those flyers that I was handing out for pay, because I did that after work.
Yeah.
I would hand out flyers at the clubs on Sunset. So I hid those flyers really quickly and I said, well, if you're looking for a director, I'm it. And I would love to take you to dinner and propose how much I need for the music video and what it is I'm going to do. And then the rest fell into place. It was really incredible.
So you actually, yes, but you said I'll take you out to dinner, so that was an entree right there, no pun intended. So that was, and so that gave them the confidence that you were not a slouch and you did have money.
Yes, and that I was prepared.
Honorable.
Yes, to go to any lengths. And I did. I took them to dinner. I paid for it. It was hard-earned money, but I got their trust.
Worth it.
Yes.
But it was worth it.
Yes.
Had your layout as how to do it, what to do, and you got it. And they agreed to the price.
Exactly, exactly.
And you didn't make it too high so that it was beyond their needs or whatever they had, so you kind of was in keeping. But you still had a price.
Yes.
In other words, you didn't say, I'm going to do this for you for nothing.
Correct. And I wanted them to know that I was going to get the crew and I was going to handle things and we were going to have a marvelous shoot. And, and then the rest is history. I started doing more and more, and I'm like the...
So you used this as your video, what you do, what you can do. So you made this really good, and you showed this to them of what you could do and how you could do it.
Yes.
So that was how you got into directing. Now, what are you directing at the moment? Anything?
Well, my film is on all streaming platforms from Amazon to, it's called Disarm Hate, and it's a documentary.
Disarmed Hate.
Disarm Hate, yes.
Disarm Hate.
And it follows 9 activists as they travel to deal with the gun violence that plagues LGBTQs.
Okay, got it.
So they go all the way across America. They stop at pro-gun places, anti-gun places. They have a conversation. They want to know, what is it like? And they go shoot guns themselves.
To get the feel of how it is to shoot a gun. Though they're not gun shooters, don't misunderstand.
They don't, a lot of them never shot them, so they wanted to feel the power.
What the power is. They wanted to understand the whole concept of what people are doing and how they're doing, and why do they get this into their head to go around shooting people?
Yes, and why this is such a big thing in America, why it plagues us so much. They wanted to understand, so I followed them. They went on an RV. They were all smushed together in this RV. We were filming nonstop, 9 days on the road.
Oh my goodness.
And then we got to this...
Is this a short film or is this a...
It's a feature film.
It's a feature film.
Narrated by Harvey Fierstein.
Okay.
He is, the theater Torchstone trilogy, and it's just a beautiful, heartfelt film, and it really talks about where we are as Americans.
And it gets to the point. It's probably very apropos to have it out right now.
It
you probably couldn't have had it out at a better time.
That's what people are telling me.
Well, look what's going on in Portland, Oregon, and all these different places of what's going on, and then they're complaining that they're sending the government in to save their own building.
Yes.
I mean, this is ludicrous.
And it's that type of spirit is in this film. Like, where are we as people?
Yeah, what are we doing?
Yes.
Well, why are we allowing this?
Right. And also why it has this relevance, and I would have never believed that would be the case. I shot it 4 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
And it took me all this time in post and doing all the things.
Of course, to make it right.
Yep, and to get it to where it is, and then we released it on June 23rd.
Oh my goodness, what a great releasing time.
Yep, and we couldn't believe it.
And what's the response?
It's been like people have been inboxing me saying, I never knew this or that. Like, there is a...
But this was 4 years ago.
Yes. People are like, I can't believe you filmed this 4 years ago. This is like happening outside my doorstep right now. Yeah,
well, like those people that had all those whoever they were, these people going past their house, they get their guns out, and then the people with the guns are the ones in trouble. The two little husband and wife protecting themselves, and they're the ones in trouble. I never got that.
Yes, and what is an amazing thing about this film is that it starts this conversation about how do I get involved? Yeah. How can I, where do I go?
How do I save this, or how do I...
Where is my piece in this
to turn
argument?
This around, to turn it around.
Because I was very much, I wouldn't say pro-gun, but neutral until I got on the road, shot the guns.
And realized how many guns were out there. I think people should have guns, but I think police should have guns. I think maybe farmers should have guns, but I don't know if a city should have guns in the way they've got them.
And that's the thing, is that we weren't wanting to take away your Second Amendment rights.
Of course not.
We want people to feel like they can
safe.
ownership of guns. That is nothing we want to deal with, but we want to ask the question, what can be done to help make us safer?
Make it safer?
Yes.
Because, well, no, actually the guns are supposed to make it safer.
We were thinking that, there was this talk of, what is it like when you have a gun and someone else has a gun? Well, you're 4 times more likely to be hurt if you're in an altercation with someone else that has a gun and you have a gun. I never knew this.
It's like a daredevil thing now.
Yeah.
Who's going to fire it first?
But it's just a real heartfelt thing, and
Good for
I
you.
never wanted to deal with politics. I'm an entertainer from way back.
Yes.
My mother's a dancer. My grandfather's an entertainer. I was like, I
You
really
come
don't.
from that family.
Yes.
You come from the old family where that never happened.
Right.
Okay, so you did that. What are you doing now?
Okay, so because of this film, I've been following a gentleman who has autism all around the world as he performs his one-man show, singing, acting, comedy. He is on the spectrum. He could barely talk as a child. His mother put him in all this special stuff, and now he wants to be a star. So I followed him.
Sounds like Susan Boyle. Susan Boyle had...
Absolutely.
Read her story and you'll understand what I'm talking about if you don't know.
You are
Very-
100%
But
correct.
very similar to Susan Boyle's story.
Yes.
That she was no good, she was nothing, and she couldn't do anything, and she was...
Nothing.
Look at her now.
And she felt useless,
Yeah.
and she was given a new lease on life. Well, this gentleman thought, I was made fun of, I was terribly bullied, people would never give me a second glance. He tried out for American Idol 9 times and was rejected. Has a beautiful voice, but nobody wanted to look twice at him because he has autism, and you can tell that there's something...
There's something not right. I don't want to say something not wrong, but something just not right. that
Well, yes, and
People
he's-
don't have patience.
Yes, and he's special in that way where we know he's got a beautiful, sings like a bird, but people wouldn't give him a second
chance.
chance. Yes.
Yeah.
He is magnificent in every way. There's a bar on people getting ahead because it doesn't look like everyone else or doesn't seem like everyone else.
So that's what you're doing right now?
Yes,
Is
and-
it nearly finished, or is it...
Yes, it's in
post-production?
post. Yes, and we are, the editor, she is doing a marvelous job. We're about, I want to say at the end of September, we'll be completely finished.
And not be able to put it out there?
Yes.
And obviously, is it going to go into Netflix, or is it going to go... Where's it going?
I'm hoping, yes, it will go to Hulu or Netflix. Like the
Yes.
film I have now is on Amazon and Vudu and Fandango and all these Comcast and cable. I'm hoping the same for
For the
My
same
Life
for
with
this one too.
Asperger's.
But also, I think you will have that. Oh, is Asperger's he has?
yes,
yes,
he is.
okay.
It's called My Life
But
with
wait
Asperger's.
a second, Asperger's, if I don't know if you know out there, because that's kind of the borderline to a genius. And you can be this way and that way. And normally people with Asperger's are in any condition like that usually are very sweet and very wonderful people.
Oh my
and
God.
they're usually very, very, very nice.
He's a doll.
But none of us give them, the only reason I do, because I had a talk show for the younger generation, but anyway. So anyway, I think it's amazing what you do, how you do it, and what you're up to and what you're going. I wish you all the best. But what's the name of this movie coming out?
This one that's out is Disarm Hate, but the new one will be My Life with Asperger's.
My Life with Asperger's. I think it's going to be a hit.
Thank you.
I really, and I know it will be, because you've already got a reputation here, so now you've got the reputation
thank
with
you.
this coming out. So you're kind of going on these unusual films, these different films, and they're a little bit films where you probably have to pay a little bit more attention to, because they're a little bit harder to deal with the situation or the person.
Yes, and
And
they
so you-
speak to the heart.
Yes, you have to understand that. So obviously, she does. Julianna does. She understands it. How can anybody reach you if they want to get hold of
Oh,
you?
please find me on Instagram, Jules Victoria with a CK, Victoria, or Julianna Brudek on Facebook. And also find the movie Disarm Hate on Vudu, Comcast Cable, and Amazon, and so on. It's pretty much everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you. She's absolutely amazing. It's great to see a woman succeed this way. And but there's only one way she did it. It was because she didn't stop. She said, "You're going to get me. I'm going to get that job. I'm going to do that." And she never stopped. And that's how you got it. Absolutely amazing. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for
She's
having me.
fabulous.
Wonderful.
We shall be right back with our next guest, Vegas Live with Ninon. Don't forget to subscribe. Go to YouTube. Subscribe. Build us up. See you later.
June 12, 2016. Pulse nightclub in Orlando, Florida under siege. And when the smoke cleared, 49 people were dead with many more injured.
I didn't know those 49 people. I didn't know that nightclub, but I felt there was an attack on our entire community.
I have an idea. We're gonna hold a national rally called Disarm Hate.
9 LGBTQ activists team up in Los Angeles to board an RV bound for Jason's Disarm Hate rally in Washington, D.C. To get a full understanding of the issue, the team decides to visit LAX shooting range.
It made me think of cops and robbers. Bang, bang, and just like that, a life can be gone.
Because irresponsible people are given a tool that can take lives.
What is the point of those high-capacity rifles? This guy said that's for stress relief. Like, go on a bike ride, that's what I do, or masturbate.
The RV, I really underestimated.
We want to fight homophobia and transphobia, but we can't fight that on the outside until we address it within our very own community.
I'm not gay enough for y'all, and I'm not straight enough for them.
The toilet was overflowing.
You've driven 1,800 miles in 2 days. How do you feel? What was
We are pumped!
This is everything you need to organize a national rally.
Here we are. The best way to be an ally sometimes is just to stand with us and just to listen.
She was shot in the head at close range. It's not a pretty picture, but that's the reality of what gun violence is.
Columbine, Orlando, the list goes on and on. Don't let them become yesterday's headlines because it happened again. That's your choice to make.
Disarm Hate. See the film and be part of the movement.
If you enjoyed the last show we just did and all the other shows, don't forget to subscribe. Vegas Live with Ninon on YouTube. We've got plenty more coming up and our guests are amazing. So don't forget to subscribe. We'll be right back. Vegas Live with Ninon.